Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video I'm going to have another moan about modern gaming, and one of the main things that I really don't like about it. It's bad enough that most modern gaming these days is sort of online. There's very little single player campaign sort of styles floating around, but it's when a game totally relies on being online that it really annoys me. And what happens when those servers are turned off? We had it recently with The Crew, which I think is a Ubisoft game, and my daughter has got a PlayStation 4, big fan of skateboarding, and she picked this up. This is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 for the PS4, a game that was released in 2015. She bought it from her local CEX. I think she paid about £10 for it, so not expensive, but not massively cheap either. She's come home, she's put it in her PlayStation, installed, done the updates, gone to play it, and you get an error message on the screen which says failed to join online session, game lobby is full or no longer available. I'm hazarding the guess that that is the latter of that it's no longer available. The servers have been discontinued, and she's now stuck with a rather fancy paperweight. And it's one of those things that really annoys me about modern gaming. There's no preservation going on. This game is now gone. I mean, I get the fact that it's fun. A lot of people do enjoy playing games online. Skateboarding, well, does that really need to be an online game where you're skating with other people? If you go back sort of further generations, there were plenty of skateboarding games, snowboarding games even, that were just single player. You did it, you went through, you progressed, and I think that's pretty much all she wanted to do. She's not massively fussed whether it's an online game or not, but I think just buying a game, a physical game. I mean, if the servers for this have been taken offline, then I'm hazarding a guess that you can't find this on like the PlayStation Store, because they will be aware that the game doesn't work. This was also released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. I assume the servers for that is down as well. And if you bought it on a store, well, it's not going to be on the store anymore. But when you go out and you purchase a physical copy of a game, an actual disc, you expect to be able to come home and play it. Now, I know this is a 2015 game, so it's a 9-year-old game, but the PS4 is still a fairly current platform. It's not current gen, obviously, because you've got PS5. It's a platform that really shouldn't really be having its servers shut off right now. My daughter is, while I'm doing this, having a quick look through the PlayStation Store, and we can't see any skate games on here. Well, any of these Tony Hawk's games. This game here is now just a giant paperweight, or it's a thing that really bugs me. Where's the game preservation? In 10 years' time, nobody is going to be able to look back on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and put it in their machine and play it. This is not your 8 or 16 or 32-bit era. Once we moved into like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, this kind of thing became more prevalent with online stores that games companies can take games off when they don't want to, so those games no longer become available. And some games that were only released on the stores, once they shut those storefronts down, that game is gone. So the whole kind of game preservation thing is lost with newer generations. There's no way of buying this and picking it up and playing it, and that goes for quite a lot of games, whether they are games that have been taken off of the store for whatever reason, that game is gone, or if it's games that have had their online sides taken off. Now, it's not too bad if I don't know, if you've got something like one of the early Call of Duty games. It still has a single player side to it, so you could put it in, play the campaign, but the multiplayer server side has been taken off. With a game like this, which totally relies on being online, it's gone. This little flat thing here is now just a glorified paperweight, a showpiece to sit on a shelf, and it really bugs me, and it's annoyed her because she's bought this, she's wasted her money on a product that she can't do anything with. Big fan of Tony Hawk's and a big fan of skating games, so she thought, well, I'll pick this up for my PS4, only to find that, well, it's now just an absolute useless piece of plastic. So if you've watched my channel before, you know I am not a fan of modern gaming. There are many aspects of that I don't like. One is that the reliance on online gaming. The other is the fact that companies can release games and then patch them later. It's just lazy development. But to spend money on a game, and okay, she spent £10 on this. It's an average amount. Buy this new when it came out, you're talking £35-40 for it to be defunct whenever whoever develops it. This is an Activision game, is it not? I think so. Did it say Activision? Yeah, Activision. So whenever Activision or whoever holds the online service for this game decide that, well, they've had enough, or it's not doing as well as they think, they just switch it off, and therefore you are stuck with either no game or a game that just does nothing at all. And it is one of those things that I hate about modern gaming. So not really much else to say, just a little bit of rant, and for me, I'm quite used to it, but I think it's one of the first times that one of my children or younger generation, those that are more into and acceptance of these modern rules for gaming, like online servers and multiplayer, etc. It's one of the first instances where they become annoyed by the fact that something they've purchased is not available, or no longer available, or in her case, can't do it at all. So I don't know. Maybe we might take this back to CEX and explain, and maybe she can buy a different game, one that doesn't rely on online servers. But that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. If you're a fan of skateboarding games and you've got a PlayStation 4, don't buy this because it is just a giant paperweight. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.